You see it all the time on television. There's a knock at the front door. And on the other side, someone is waiting to. I hate when they say this. Um, Logic, the author of Supermarket, always likes to put you, the reader, be like, oh, you know that celebrity? Oh, you know that that you should know in real life, even though I don't know any celebrities. So every reference he made, it flew by me. So you see it all the time on television, right? And they always reference like a movie, and it's like I don't watch that many movies. So again, you're flying over my head. I guess I'm like the only person who doesn't watch that many movies. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You shouldn't really rely on other mediums. You shouldn't rely, or maybe you should. I don't know. Maybe it's subjective. There's a knock at the front door, and on the other side, someone is waiting to tell you the news that changes everything. On television, it is usually a police chaplain. Is that a real thing, a chaplain? Isn't that like a religious role, like the church? Or a firefighter. Maybe a uniformed officer from the armed forces. But when I open the door, when I learn that everything's about to change for me, the messenger isn't a cop or a federal investigator in starched pants. Why are you checking out his pants? It's a 12-year-old girl in a soccer uniform, shin guards and all. Mrs. Michaels? Mrs. I'm not even gonna try. She says, I hesitate before answering, the way I often do when someone asks me if that is who I am. I am and I'm not. I haven't changed my name. I was Hannah Hall, what a stupid ass name, for 38 years before. Okay, so just exposition. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't really like this unnecessary exposition. Like, this has to play a role. Her changing her name has to be important later, right? Like, oh, I thought you were this. It has to. Like, this has to. You can't throw useless information. It better come into play later. And I didn't see because exposition is dry and boring. Like, I don't care. I don't have a reason to care about Hannah Hall right now. So if you're gonna give me this dry exposition, better, you better, it better pay off. But when Owen and I have been married for a little over a year, and in that time, see, and more exposition, I don't really care. I've learned not to correct people either way because what they really want to know is whether I'm Owen's wife. Okay, so a whole paragraph explaining that no one cares about her past identity, only that she is related to Owen. So Owen is obviously an important person, right? Because if that's all her value is derived from, that's what they're asking. Another thing I'd like to notice, it's been like 3 or 4 years since I read the other book, but I think she also had a problem with taking the guy's name. I don't know what's up with women authors, but they apparently have an issue with taking the man's name. I guess it deprives them of who they are. I mean, in a way, it kind of does, but that's not the point. It's certainly what the 12-year-old wants to know, which leads me to explain how I can be so certain that she is 12. What? Which leads me to explain how I can be so certain that she is 12. I'm pretty sure 12-year-olds all look the same. What kind of planet we living on? We can't even tell if a child is 12 or not. I mean, some look 14, some look 10, but like, damn, it's a child. Having spent most of my life seeing people in two broad categories, child and adult, I mean, you could do a third one, child and teen, because trust me, those are need to be put down. Oh, and also old, old. So there's four: child, teen, adult, and old. You can even go young adult, but it's basically like a teen. It's like a child adult. Yeah. This change is a result of is a result. I'm sorry, but it sounds like she's giving like a seminar. This change is a result of the last year and a half, a result of my husband's daughter, Bailey. I'm sorry, I've read the reviews. Okay. Being the stunningly disinviting age of 16. Is she 12 or 16? Dude, that's a big difference. If you can't tell the difference, I'm a little worried. A result of my husband's daughter, Bailey, being the stunningly disinviting age of 16. You know, I think a more funny word that would have made me laugh, unironically. Stunningly unpleasant. That would have been like a really good word right here. Of 16. Disinviting, is that even like a real word? Search the web dictionary. Oh, we got Oxford American? I didn't know. Disinvite. It's a real word, but I don't know. I feel like unpleasant would have been more funny. But it's not my book. It's a result of my mistake upon first meeting the guarded Bailey of telling her that she looked younger than she was. Bro, if she's 16, looks 12, did she not eat her vegetables? There's no way a 16-year-old looks 12. Sorry. Of telling her that she looked younger than she was. It was the worst thing I could have done. Sounds like she needs to get spanked. Maybe it was the second worst. The worst thing was probably my attempt to make it better by cracking a joke about how I wished someone would age me down. That's a long sentence. Bailey has barely stomached me since. Barely. Bailey has barely. Please don't put those two words together. Bailey has barely stomached me since, despite the fact that I know better than to not. Sorry. Better than to try to crack a joke of any kind with a 16-year-old. She needs to be humbled. If she can't laugh, she needs to be humbled with the palm of her hand. Or, okay, please just end the sentence. Or, comma, really, comma, to try and talk too much at all. Damn. Is Owen must be rich for you to put up with this. Okay, whatever. Sounds like a bitch. How you gonna put up with that? But back to my 12-year-old friend. So is she 12 or 16? Is she like making the joke like in spite of her now? Fine, I'll take it. But back to my 12-year-old friend standing in the doorway, shifting from dirty cleat to dirty cleat. Okay, so we know she's kind of a neat freak, I guess, because who wants dirty ass feet in the? She's in the doorway, so she's not necessarily dirty in the house, but she's impeding there. Mr. Michaels, isn't that your father? Why would you call him Mr. Michaels? You've already established that this is your stepmom, so why would she still call her own father Mr. Michaels? Hold on. That's not the. She's not the daughter. She's not the daughter. Whatever. Okay, so fine. She's not the daughter. That's on me. Then she thrusts out her hand, a folded piece of yellow legal. I didn't know there was yellow legal paper inside her palm. Hannah is written on the front in Owen's writing. He didn't even give you an envelope. Like, I bet you this bitch read it. I take the folded note. Hold her eyes. Hold her eyes. I'm sorry, I say. I'm missing something. Are you a friend of Bailey's? Who's Bailey? Husband's honor. This change of zone. So this isn't Bailey. Well, Bailey still needs to be humbled. I didn't expect the answer to be yes. You know, it's me talking so much that I got lost. Yeah, Bailey still is still a bitch. I didn't expect the answer to be yes. There is an ocean between 12 and 16. Yes, there is. But I can't piece this together. Why hasn't Owen just called me? Why is he involving this girl? Yeah, why is Owen talking to 12-year-olds? My first guess would be that something has happened to Bailey and Owen couldn't break away. But Bailey is at home, avoiding me as she usually does. Her blasting music. So that today's selection, I don't give a shit, I'm not reading it. Pulsing all the way down the stairs. Its own looping reminder that I'm not welcome in her room. Bitch, oh my god. Owen must have a really good D for her to put up with this. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Where did you see him? He ran past me in the hall. Is he a teacher? Why is he in a hall? For a minute, I think she means our hall, the space right behind us. But that doesn't make sense. Why would he have a 12-year-old over run past her in his own house? Okay. And why would she be. Forget it. We live in a floating home on the bay, a houseboat as they are commonly called, except here in Sausalito, where there's a community of them, 400 of them. Here they are floating homes, all glass and views. Our sidewalk is a dock, our hallway is a living room. Okay, so these guys are kind of rich, right? So you saw Mr. Michaels at school? That's what I just said. Damn! She gives me a look, like, where else? Maybe in your. Never mind. Me and my friend Claire were on our way to practice, and he asked us to drop this off. I said I couldn't come until after practice, and he said fine. He gave us your address. So he's a teacher, and he's what, wanted by the government? That's his front, a teacher. She holds up a second piece of paper, like proof. He also gave us $20, she adds. The money she doesn't. The money she doesn't hold up. Maybe she thinks I'll take it back. His phone was broken or something, and he couldn't reach you. He couldn't use the school's phone. He couldn't even, even ask his students for a phone. He's in a rush. I guess he couldn't. So he said his phone was broken. How else would I know? She says. I'm sorry. It's just like I'm having like 10 different thoughts every line. Then her phone rings, or I think it's a phone until she picks it up. Wait, picks it off her waist, and it looks more like a high-tech beeper. Are beepers back? Yeah, we know she old. Carole King show tunes, high-tech beepers. Another reason Bailey probably doesn't have patience for me. There's a world of teen things I know absolutely nothing about. The girl taps away on her device, already putting Owen and her $20 mission behind her. I'm reluctant to let her go, still unsure about what is going on. Maybe this is some kind of weird joke. Maybe Owen thinks this is funny. I don't think it's funny. Not yet, anyway. Your husband is missing is a funny joke. Okay. See you, she says. She starts walking away, heading down the dock. I watch her get smaller and smaller. Then you watch her all the way. The sun down over the bay. A handful of early evening stars lighting her way. Then I step outside myself. I half expect Owen, my lovely, silly Owen, to jump out from the side of the dock. The rest of the soccer team giggling behind them. Okay, why is he hanging out with a soccer team of girls? That's kind of weird. The lot of them letting me in on the prank. Does she know the soccer team that they would participate in this? Like personally? That's just weird. Okay. So I close our front door and I look down at the piece of yellow legal paper. Okay, you didn't have to tell me it's legal again. Still folded in my hand. I haven't opened it yet. It occurs to me in the quiet how much I don't want to open it. I don't want to know what the note says. Part of me still wants to hold on to this one last moment. The moment where you, it's not me, it's you. The moment, see, she goes from me and then to you. She's talking to me later. Like, don't. This is you. This is you who's not opening the note. I would have opened the note already. I would have opened the note in front of the child's face. I still get to believe this is a joke and error, especially if I thought it was a joke. This is a joke and error, a big nothing. The moment before you know for sure that something has started that you, me, can no longer stop. I unfolded I unfolded the paper. Owen's note is short, one line, its own puzzle. Protect her. Okay. So am I joined in? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so I mean, there's a million things I could say. Um, let's just continue because I have too much. I've already said so much. Green Street before it was Green Street. I met Owen a little over 2 years ago. I was still, of course, she's living in New York City. All these female authors do. I was still living in New York City then. I was living 3,000 miles from Sausalito. The North, of course, she goes, how do you decide that you don't want to live in New York so you go to California? Just go upstate New York. I mean, I guess the weather, you want hotter weather, but besides that, it's just as shitty. That I call home. Sausalito is on the other side of the Golden Gate from San Francisco, thanks to her geography lesson. But a world away from city life. You could have just gone to upstate New York. Quite quiet, charming, sleepy. It's the place that Owen and Bailey. She's really putting herself as the third wheel here, huh? The place that Owen and Bailey have called home for more than a decade. It is also the polar opposite of my previous life, which kept me squarely in Manhattan. Of course, the female protagonist works in Manhattan. Of course. In a lofted storefront on Green Street in Soho, I don't care. A small space with an astronomical rent I never quite believed I could afford. I bet you really couldn't if this is real. I used it as both my workshop and my showroom. I turn wood. I bet you do. That's what I do for work. People usually make a face when I tell them this is my job. However, I try to describe it. Yeah, well, you described it the best way. Images of their high school woodshop class coming to mind. Being a wood turner is a little like that, and nothing like that. Of course, she does the double thing where I am and I'm not. Being a wood turner, okay. I like to describe it as sculpting, but instead of sculpting clay, I sculpt wood. I mean, you could describe workshop as sculpting wood into chairs. It's just more practical. You're just trying to make it more fancy than it is. Like, you're just making impractical objects that are meant to look good. You're making forget it. I come by the profession naturally. My grandfather was a wood turner, an excellent one at that, and his work was at the center of my life for as back as I can remember. He was at the center of my life for as far back as I could. Why would you waste a whole sentence? You have a whole sentence saying his work and then another sentence saying his life, but they're repeated in the same way as if the other one doesn't exist. That's horrible. Having raised me mostly on his own. You could have fucking. Hold on. You could have literally put his work. Him and his work were the center of my life for as far back as I can remember. Or you could have at least put his work, and then you could have just put having raised me mostly on his own. And you could have just cut this whole sentence right here off. Thanks for wasting my time. My father, Jack, and my mother, Carol, who preferred that I refer to her as Caroli, were largely uninterested in doing any child rearing. Okay, so exposition in the second chapter, I don't care. Exposition has to be earned, and it also has to be delivered in a more interesting way, especially in the first. I said this before, but you have to earn dry exposition. You have to earn it. Because the real way to give exposition is through action and dialogue. Because right now, I don't care about you or your past. And your past isn't going to make me interested in you. Your actions and your words are. This is not interesting to me. I've never been like, oh wow, this is so interesting. I now want to care about this character from exposition. Their actions and what they say, how they interact with the world is what makes them interesting, not their past. Unless the past, again, comes up in the plot, but that's part of the plot. Okay, so my grandfather encouraged my mother to make an effort with me when I was young, but I barely knew my father, who traveled for work 280 days a year. When he did have time off, he was hunkered down at his family's ranch. Why is this relevant? This isn't relevant. Is she gonna have to go to Sewanat, Tennessee later in the plot? I doubt she is. This is just dry. Okay, even if it does come up later, this is still dry and boring. You could actually have her. I'm not gonna give a suggestion. I'm not getting paid for this. This is boring. Whatever. When he did have time off, he hunkered down at his family's ranch in Sewanee. She just loves all these goofy ass. She picks the goofiest names for her family members to live. Sewanee, Salisto. As opposed to driving the 2 hours to my grandfather's house in Franklin to spend time with me. And shortly after my 6th birthday, when my father left my mother for his assistant, a woman named Gwendolyn, who was nearly 21. Who gives a shit? Literally, cut this line out. It doesn't matter. My mother, she's going to come up later, right? Please tell me she does. But it doesn't matter. It's not earned. My mother stopped coming home as well. She chased my father down until he took her back. Then she left me with my grandfather full time. So they got back together? Wow. What a love story. If it sounds like a sob story, it isn't. Of course, it isn't ideal to have your mother. I don't care. Oh my God. It certainly didn't feel good to be on the receiving end of that choice. But when I look back now, I think my mother did me a favor exiting the way she did, without apology, without vacillation. Please tell me that's a real word. Vacillation, not reconciliation. Being decisive. At least she made it clear there was nothing I could have done to make her. What a cope. Your mother and father are horrible people. And on the other side of her exit, I was happier. My grandfather was stable and kind, and he made me dinner every night. and waited for me to finish dinner before he announced it was time to get up and read me stories before he went to sleep. And he always let me watch him work. I lo- It's just so hard. I loved watching him work. He'd start with an impossibly enormous piece of wood, moving it over the lathe, turning it into something magical. Or if it was at least if it was less than magical, he would figure out how to start over again. That was probably my favorite part of watching him work when he would throw up his hands and say, "Well, we've got to do this a different, don't we?" Then he'd go about finding a new way into what he wanted to create. I'm guessing any psychologist worth her salt. Why are you assuming it's a her? Fucking bigot. Fucking bigot. As if a man can't be a psychologist. Would say that it must have given me hope. That I must have thought my grandfather would help me do the same thing for myself to start again. You were a child. Bro. But if anything, I think I took comfort in the opposite. Watching my grandfather work taught me that not everything was fluid. There were certain things that you hit from different angles, but you never gave up on. You did the work that was needed wherever that work took you. I never expected. This is so much exposition. I never expected to be successful at wood turning or at my foray from there into making furniture. I half expected I wouldn't be able to make a living out of it. Isn't that what I mean? I guess making a living out of it is different from being successful at it, right? That's like half of it. My grandfather regularly supplemented his income by picking up construction work. But early on, when one of my more impressive dining tables was featured in I'm not reading that. I developed a niche among a subset of downtown New York City residents. As one of my favorite interior designers explained it, my clients wanted to spend a lot of money decorating their homes in a way that made it look like they weren't spending any money at all. That sounds exactly what they would be doing, to be honest. That sounds exactly the freaking convoluted shit these freaking Manhattan stoners be doing. Spending a lot of money but not looking like it. That sounds like the exact mental gymnastics these people would be doing. 100%. Over time, this devoted clientele turned into a somewhat larger clientele in other coastal cities and resort towns. Los Angeles, of course, Los Angeles, another psycho place. Aspen, East Hampton, yep, both sound like psycho place. Aspen, especially. San Francisco, Park City, yep. This was how Owen and I met. Avett Thompson, the CEO of the tech firm where Owen worked, was a client. You were fucking him too, weren't you? Avett and his wife, the ridiculously gorgeous Belle, were among my most loyal clients. Belle liked to joke that she was Avet's trophy wife, which may have been funnier if it wasn't also so on point. She was a former model, 10 years younger than his grown children. Damn. Born and raised in Australia, the place where all the models come from. How is this relevant? My pieces were in every room of her townhouse in San Fran, where she and Avett lived together, and her newly constructed country town in St. Helena, a small town northern end of Napa Valley, where I feel like I'm reading a textbook. I had met Ava only a handful of times before he and Owen showed up at my workshop. They were in New York for an investor meeting, and Bele wanted them to stop buying to check on a rolled edge side table she'd asked me to make for their bedroom. Ava wasn't sure what he should be checking for. Something about how the table would look with the bed frame that would hold on their $10 organic mattress. Avette couldn't have cared less, honestly. They're talking about a mattress. Yeah, I know who else couldn't care less. When he and Owen walked in, he was in a sharp blue suit, his graying hair crunchy with hair gel. Damn, son. So what? He didn't wash his hair last night? Crunchy hair gel? He doesn't wash his hair. The phone glued to his ear, yeah, with all that hair gel. He was in the middle of a phone call. He took one look at the side table and briefly covered the mouthpiece. Looks fine to me, he said. We good here? Then, before I answered, he headed outside. Owen, on the other hand, was mesmerized by my wood. He did a slow sweep of the whole workshop, stopping to study each piece. I watched him as he walked around. He was such a confusing picture. This long-limbed guy with shaggy blonde hair and sun-drenched skin and worn-out Converse sneakers. This is a tech guy and he's wearing sneakers. Converse. Bro, Converse. All of which seemed at odds with his fancy sports jacket. So he's fucking tacky. Holy shit. It was almost like he fell off a surfboard into the jacket. The starched shirt beneath it. Man, this is so hard. I realized I was staring and started to turn away just as Owen stopped in front of my favorite piece, a farm table that I used as a desk. My computer and newspapers and small tools were covered most of it. You can only make out the table beneath. If you were really looking, he was at these nuts. He took in the stiff wood that I had chiseled down with my hands, white knuckle grip, gently yellowing the corners, welding rough metal to each edge. Was Owen the first customer to notice the table? No, of course not, but he was the first to bend over. Just like I'd often do. Oh no! Running his fingers along the sharp metal and holding the table there. Damn, he was the first to bend over, just like you do. You got yourself a real man. Oh man. He turned his head and looked up at me. Ouch! He said, bent over my table. Oh my god, try bumping up against it in the middle of the night. Man, this is weird. I said. Owen stood back up, giving the table a tap goodbye. Oh Lord. Then he walked over to me and bent over again. He walked over to me until somehow we were standing close to each other somehow. Close, really, for me not to wonder how we'd gotten there. I probably should have felt self-conscious about my tank top and paint-splattered jeans. The messy bun, oh god, this is another thing that these authors like to do. They like to fall in love while they're at their messiest. Yep, that's another thing I've noticed. my unwashed, like they just take note of how horrible they look, and like, oh, I fell in love at this time. Yeah. I felt something else though, watching him look at me. So he said, "What's the asking price? Do you come with the table?" Actually, the table is the only piece in the showroom that's not for sale, I said. Because it could cause injury, he said. Exactly, I said. You don't need to say I said. There's only two people talking. I think if you put exactly on its own after, like, it's obviously a tit for tat here. You don't need to say I said after he said, after I said, because it's already established after the first interaction that it's you and then him and then you and then him. Like, unless someone jumps in, you don't need to say I said. This was when he smiled. So he hasn't been smiling. He's been creeping up on you with a what kind of expression? When Owen smiled, it was like the title of a bad pop song. To be clear, it wasn't that his smile lit up his face. It wasn't anything as sentimental or as explosive as that. It was more that his smile, this generous, childlike, you calling your man childlike? Smile that made him seem kind. It made him seem kind in a way I wasn't used to running into on Green Street in downtown Manhattan. So, no negotiating on the table then, he said. Afraid not, but I could show you some different pieces. How about a lesson instead? You could show me how to make a similar table for myself, but maybe with slightly kinder edges. He said, I'll sign a waiver. Any injuries acquired will be at my own risk. I'm sorry, when a book is so bad, it just gives me a lot of time to reflect. I was still smiling, but I felt confused because all of a sudden I walked through the shadow of valley of death. I didn't realize that there was not a table we were talking about. I felt fairly confident that we weren't. I felt as confident as a woman could had what? I felt as confident as a woman could who had spent the last 2 years engaged to a man whom she realized she couldn't marry 2 weeks before their wedding. Oh my god, that's literally the other story I read. Oh my god. What's up with... Forget it. Look, Ethan, I said. Owen, he... Who's Ethan? Oh my god, she literally just called him her ex. Bruh. How you call some stranger your ex? Okay. Owen, that's nice of you to ask, I said, but I kind of have a no dating policy with clients. He hasn't bought anything yet, so he's not a client, bitch. Well, it is a good thing see, it is a good thing I can't afford to buy anything you're selling then, he said. But that stopped him. He shrugged, as if to say some other time, and headed toward the door and Yvette, who was pacing back and forth on the sidewalk, still on his phone call, yelling at the person on the other end. You're fired! You're hired! You're fired! He was almost out the door. He was almost gone. But I felt instantly my motherly instincts, and strongly the need to reach out and stop him before leaving. To say that I hadn't meant it, man, forget it. I'd meant something else. I'd meant he should stay. Yeah, what? I can't. Forget it, please. I'm not saying it was love at first sight. Please don't say it is. Um, what I'm saying is that a part of me wanted to do something to stop him from walking away, even though you sent him on his way. Come on. I'm tired of this. I wanted to be around that stretched out smile in this society a little longer. Wait, I said. I looked around, searching for something to hold him there, zeroing in on a textile that belonged to another client. A textile is like a tile, right? What's a textile? Holding it up. This is for Belle. Or Belle. It was not my finest moment, and as my former fiance would tell you, it was also completely out of. Stop talking about your former fiance. God damn, you dumped him, you're still talking about him. It was also completely out of character for me to reach out to someone as opposed to pulling away. Don't tell me it's out of character. Show me it's out of character by showing me the character, and then for me to say, wow, this is out of character. She must have really liked this guy for her to be out of character. But you're telling me you're cheating. That's cheating. You're telling me it's cheating, and cheating is not fun. I'll make sure she gets it, he said. So he came back in. He took it from me, avoiding my eyes. Yeah, you kind of rejected him. So obviously he's not gonna. You already rejected him. You're a piece of like. For the record, I have 1, 2. He's still talking. For the record, I have 1, 2. Oh no, he's trying to save face. Just leave. For the record, I have 1, 2. A no dating policy. I am a single father. Oh God, just as bad as a single mother. And it goes with the territory. He paused. But my daughter's a theater junkie, and I'll lose serious points if I don't see a play with while I'm in New York. What? He mentioned toward an angry Avette screaming on the sidewalk. A play is not exactly Avette's thing, as surprising as that sounds. Very, I said. So what do you think? Do you want to come? What was his whole thing here? Was are you trying to impress a woman by saying you're a single father? How did that work? That doesn't work. I mean, it's better to let you know now, but whatever. Let's not consider it a date. This is either. Forget it, let's just continue. He said, it will be a one-time thing. We'll agree on that going in, just dinner and a play. Who's paying? Nice to meet you. Because of our policies, I said. His smile returned open and generous. Yes, he said, because of them. Because of our policy, because of them. Okay. So all that exposition, I don't really care. I mean, if you don't really even have to give a backstory to your husband or your wife or whatever. I think we can, as the audience, assume that as the spouse, you would want to find out what happened to your spouse. That's a given. You would have to explain the opposite, why she would not want to find him. So all of this was just a waste of my time. What's that smell? Bailey asks. Bailey barely barfs. I'm pulled from my memory to find Bailey standing in the kitchen doorway. She looks irritated. She needs to get humbled. Standing there in a chunky sweater, a messenger bag slung over her shoulder, her purple streaked hair. Yep, problems. Problems. Purple streaked hair caught beneath its strap. I smile at her, my phone cradled under my chin. I have been trying to reach Owen unsuccessfully, the phone going to voicemail again and again. Sorry I didn't see you there, I say. She doesn't respond, her mouth pinched. I put my phone away, ignoring her perma scowl. She's a beauty, despite it. She's a beauty in a way that I've noticed strikes people. She's 16. I've noticed strikes that looks 12. Right? Oh no. She does. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, a real beautiful 12-year-old. That's great. She doesn't look much like Owen. Her purple hair, naturally a chestnut brown. I don't care about her natural hair color if she's dyed it all purple. Her eyes dark and fierce. They're intense. Those eyes, they pull you in. Owen says they're just like her grandfather's, her mother's father. Does that matter? Are we going to meet these characters that you have to differentiate them? Her grandfather would have been enough, okay? Which is why they named her after him. A girl named Bailey. Bailey sounds more like a girl named than a guy named. Just Bailey. Where's my dad? She says. He's supposed to drive me to play practice. Play practice. Is that what? It's like theater practice? Okay, whatever. My body tenses as I feel Owen's note in my pocket, like a weight. Protect her. Oh! I'm sure he's on his way, I say. Let's eat some dinner. Is that what smells? She says. Oh man, she needs to be humbled. Humble her. Humble her. With the snap of your wrist against her face. I'm sure he's on his way. Oh wait, she wrinkles her nose, just in case it isn't clear that the smell to which she is referring isn't one she likes. It's the linguine that you had at Poggio, I said. She gives me a blank look as though Poggio isn't her favorite local restaurant. As though we weren't there for dinner just a few weeks before to celebrate her 16th birthday. Bailey ordered that night's special, a homemade multigrain linguine in a brown butter sauce. That sounds good. And Owen gave her a little taste of his glass of Malbec to go with it. I thought she loved pasta, but maybe what she loved was drinking wine with her father. Just... I put a heaping portion on a plate and place it on the kitchen island. Try a little, I say. You're gonna like it. Bailey stares at me, trying to decide if she is in the mood for a showdown. Damn, she needs it. Please. I already read the reviews. Spoiler alert, she does not get humbled. In fact, the reviews complain that that this is how all the interactions between the protagonist and Bailey go. Sorry for the spoiler. Let's see. Just in case you were going to read it, but... Oh my god, there's still so much! Oh no! I don't know if I could read all that. protect her. He just fucking leaves and says, "Yeah, she's your problem now." Uh, God. I put okay. If she's in the mood for her father's disappointment, should I snitch to him about her fast, dinnerless exit? There's no question mark there. Deciding against it, she bites back her annoyance and hops onto her bar stool. Fine, she says, I'll have a little. Just a little bit. Boom. I guess it's that stupid song. Bailey almost tries with me. That's the worst part. She isn't a bad kid or a menace. She's a good kid in a situation she hates, so that justifies her bad behavior. Being in a bad situation always justifies bad behavior. Just give a free handout of treating everyone like shit because of their bad situation. You can treat everyone like shit. You can treat everyone like shit. Yep, it all depends on their situation. Never mind trying to be a better person in spite of that. Never mind that. Never mind the fact that you yourself were abandoned by both your parents. Forget that. You don't deserve anything. She has it worse. She lives in a boathouse. I just happen to be in that situation. There are obvious reasons why a teenage girl... Why am I getting like a TED Talk here? There are obvious reasons why a teenage girl who looks 12 would be adverse to her father's new wife. Especially Bailey. Why especially her? Who had a good thing going when it was just the two of them together. Best friends. Owen, her biggest fan. Wow. That's why she's so spoiled. Though those reasons don't cover the totality of Bailey's dislike for me. Why am I getting a TED Talk? It isn't just that I got her age wrong when we first met. Bitch, if she hasn't forgiven you for that... It comes down to an afternoon shortly I moved to Sausalito. I was supposed to pick her up at school, but I got stuck on a call with a client, and I arrived 5 minutes late. Not 10 minutes, 5. 5:05. That was what the clock said when I pulled up to her friend's house. But it may as well have been an hour. Bailey is an exacting girl. You know what? She's gonna get the exact circumference of the palm of my hand. Holy shit, bro. Owen will tell you that this, especially since she looks so young, you could probably hold her down and beat her. So, you're a grown-ass woman. Owen will tell you that this is a quality we have in common. I doubt that. Both his wife and his daughter can decipher everything about someone else in 5 minutes. I wonder why Owen left her. That's all it takes. And in the 5 minutes Bailey was making her decision about me, I was on the telephone call I shouldn't have been taken. I think what makes this really worse, like all this coping about being abused by your stepdaughter, is the reviews have already spoiled the fact that there's no revenge here, there's no growth for the protagonist. She just takes it and she never fights back. I think that's like the sad part. She never bites back. To just go through this abuse, it's just frustrating. Bailey twirls some pasta on her fork, studying it. And then the worst part is not just the abuse, it's the cope of the abuse, the justification for the abuse. That just makes it twice as worse. If she was like begrudgingly accepting it because, I don't know, I mean, obviously she can make her own living, so like it's just the double factor of the coping of the abuse and then the abuse itself. It's just too much. And the third factor is that she never bites back. That's just too much. You can't relate. Like it has to be. You can't do the trifecta of that. You can't have her cope. You can't have the abuse happen, and you can't have her not fight back. That's just horrible. Only 2 out of 3, not 3 out of 3. Damn. Bailey twirls. Okay, so this looks different than Poggio. Yeah, bitch, because she cooked it. Damn. Well, it's not. I convinced the sauce. Sauce chef? Sauce. I'm going to use that word. Sosa John Philip. Sauce chef to give me the recipe. He even sent me to the ferry building to pick up the garlic bread he serves with it. You drove to San Francisco to get a loaf of bread? Oh! Oh my god. It's possible that I try too hard with her. There is that. Bro. She's literally chastising herself over trying too hard. Love me, Bailey. Love me. Okay, it's possible. Okay, she leans in and puts the whole bite in her mouth. I bite my lip, anticipating her approval. Bro. Oh, I got a better sound effect. Hold on. Where was I? She leans in and puts the whole bite in her mouth. I bite my lip. Bro. Anticipating her approval. Yeah, because she looks like a very grateful person. So far, Bailey has shown to be such a grateful, kind, and generous person. Just step after step. Okay. A small yum escaping her lips in spite of herself. I'm just trying to think if I ate something really delicious, I wouldn't accidentally say yum. I'd be like, whatever. Which is when she gags on it. She actually gags, reaching for a glass of water. What did you put in that? She says. It tastes like charcoal. But I tasted it, I say. It's perfect. Love me, Bailey. Oh. I take another bite myself. She's not wrong? You just said you tasted it. In my confusion over my 12-year-old visitor, why are you making her age so significant? And Owen's note, the butter sauce had transformed from slightly malted, foamy richness into actually being burnt and bitter. Not like eating a campfire. So you did burn it. I gotta go anyway, she says. Especially if I went to get a ride from Suz. Is that like the neighborhood pimp? Who's Suz? Bailey stands up, and I picture Owen standing behind me, leaning down. It sounds like a fucking ghost. Leaning down to whisper in my ear, wait it out. That's what he says when Bailey is dismissive of me. She's not just dismissive, she's not even just passive aggressive. She's a bitch. Wait it out. Meaning she'll come around one day. Nuh-uh. She'll come around one day. So just be abused. Also meaning she's leaving for college. So she's... 2.5 years. I'm reading ahead. But Owen doesn't understand that this doesn't comfort me. To me, this just means I'm running out of time to make her want to move toward me. To me, This just means I'm running out of time to make her want to move toward me? What does that mean? To me, this just means I'm running out of time to make her want to move toward me. What does move toward you mean? And I do want her to move toward me. What does that mean? I want us to have a relationship. Not just because of Owen, it's more than that. What draws me toward Bailey, even as she pushes me away, is my abandonment issues that my parents gave me. That's exactly what it sounds like. Part of it is that I recognize in her that thing that happens when you lose your mother. My mother left by choice. Bailey's by tragedy. But it leaves a similar imprint on you either way. I feel like leaving by choice is worse. Your mother straight up doesn't love you. It leaves you in the same strange place, trying to figure out how to navigate the world without the most important person watching. I don't know how I'm going to finish this. I'll walk over to Suz. She says she'll drive me. Suz, her friend. Suz, her friend Suz, who is also in the play. Suz, who lives on the docks too. Suz, who is safe. Isn't she? Protect her. Let me take you, I say. No. She pulls her purple hair behind her ears, checks her tone. That's okay, Suz is going anyway. If your father isn't back yet, I say, I'll come and pick you up. One of us will be waiting for you out front. She drills me with a look. Why wouldn't he be back? She says, he will. I'm sure he will. I just meant, if I come get you, then you can drive home. Wait. If I come get you, then you can drive home. Bailey just got her learner's permit. It'll be a year of her driving with an adult until she can drive alone. And Owen doesn't like her driving at night, even when she's with him, which I try to utilize as an opportunity. Sure, Bailey says, thanks. She walks towards the door, but not towards me, which is what I want. She wants out of the conversation and into... She wants? What? She would say anything to get there, but I take it as a date. What? She walks towards the door. She wants out of the conversation and into the Sausalito air. She would say anything to get there, but I take it as a date. So I'll see you in a few hours? See ya. See ya, she says. And I feel happy. For just a second. Then the front door is slamming behind her, and I'm alone again with Owen's note. The imitable silence of the kitchen, and enough burnt pasta to feed a family of 10. Damn, you burnt that much pasta. This is so hard. Protect her. Protect her. Protect her. It sounds like something else. It doesn't sound like a belt. I take a left into the parking lot at Bailey's school and pull into a spot by the front exit. I turn down the radio and try him again. My heartbeat picks up when his phone goes straight into voicemail. It's been 12 hours since he left for work, 2 hours since the visit from the soccer star, 18 messages to my husband that have gone unreturned. I wonder if something happened to him. Hey, I say after the beep, I don't know what's going on, but you need to call me as soon as you get this. Owen, I love you, but I'm going to kill you if I don't hear from you soon. I end the call and look down at my phone. Protect her, willing it to buzz immediately. Owen calling back with a good explanation. It's one of the reasons I love him. One of them. We already know the other one, which was he's calm or some bullshit. He always has a good explanation. He always brings calmness. Wait, oh no, I skipped ahead the other time. Okay. I want to believe that he will be true even now. I need to check again. I swear to God, she said this before. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, this is the one I read ahead on. I slide over so Bailey can jump into the driver's seat, and I close my eyes, running through the different scenarios as to what could possibly be going on. Innocuous, reasonable scenarios. He is stuck in an epic work meeting. He lost his phone. Okay, so there's nothing reasonable when instead of there's nothing reasonable. If he gave the note that just said protect her, he's gone. Like he dumped. He went to go get milk. Protect her. Yeah, okay. I would like someone to try that in real life. Like like the dad tries to dip, and then he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna tell the baby mama that I'm on a secret mission, and I'm gonna give this 12-year-old a letter that's very vague and ambiguous. Protect. Oh wait, that's not the baby mama. It doesn't matter. Protect her. That would be so funny. This is when I hear the name. Maybe I should put it. I think I'm gonna put it in my book, man. That's gonna be so funny. It's gonna be so funny. This is when I hear the name of Owen's tech firm, the shop, coming from my car radio. I turned the radio up, thinking I imagined it. Maybe I was the one who said it in the message to Owen. Are you stuck at the shop? It's possible. But then I hear the rest of the report coming from the NPR's host's slick, grippy voice.
Today's radio was the culmination of a 14th-month investigation by the CEC and the FBI into the software startups' businesses practices. We can confirm that the CEO, Evan Thompson, is in custody. Expected charges including visual and fraud. Sources close to the investigation have told NPR that, quote, there is evidence Thompson planned to flee the country and had set up residence in Dubai, and the indictments of senior staff are expected to be handed down shortly.
The shop. It's a she? Slick and grippy voice? I wouldn't describe a woman's voice like that. Slick and grippy. Okay. The shop. She is talking about the shop. How is this possible? Owen is honored to work there. Owen has used that word, honored. He told me that he took a salary cut to join them early on. Nearly everyone there had to take a salary cut, leaving bigger companies behind. Goggle, Fachi Book, Twitter, leaving big money behind, agreeing to stock options. Can I just say that this is the second book written by a female author where the husband and wife are doing so well financially and they're the top of their job? Didn't Owen tell me they did this because they believed in the technology the shop was developing? They aren't Enron, Theranos, Thanos. They are a software company. They were building software tools set up to privatize online life, helping people control what was made available about them, providing a child easy ways to erase an embarrassing image, make a website all but disappear. They wanted to be a part of revolutionizing online privacy. That sounds like it's gonna be used for evil right there. Erasing, nope. I don't see that happening well. Like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's good for you, and it's like used for the complete opposite. How could there be fraud in that? A little self-awareness there. The host goes to commercial, and I reach for my phone, flipping to Apple News. But just as I'm pulling up CNN's, okay, that's your first mistake. Bailey's coming out of the school. So she moved way before. What if someone, okay, whatever. She has a bag swung over her shoulder and a needy look on her face that I don't recognize, especially directed at me. Yeah, probably the girls at school, all the 12-year-old and 16-year-old girls this guy's talking to, told his daughter about it. I mean, obviously. How long did she think she was going to hide this? Hold on. He's not a teacher. So why was he talking to these soccer girls? Bro. What was he doing near a school when he's working in a tech firm? On privacy, on deleting things that about you. Okay. Bailey gets in the car quickly. She drops into the driver's seat and buckles herself in. She doesn't say hello to me. She doesn't even turn her head to look in my direction. Are you okay? I ask. She shakes her head, her purple hair falling out from behind her ears. I expect her to make a snide remark. Do I look okay? But she stays quiet. Bailey, I say. I don't know, she says. I don't know what's going on. This is when I notice it. The bag she has with her isn't her messenger bag. It's a duffel bag. It's a large black duffel bag, which she cradles in her lap gently, like it's a baby. What is that? Take a look, she says. The way she says it makes me not want to look, but I don't have much of a choice. Bailey hurls the duffel bag onto my lap. Go on, look, Hannah. I pull back the zipper just a bit, and money starts spilling out. Oh, damn, what's she doing in school to get that money? Rolls and rolls of money, hundreds and hundreds of dollar bills tied together. Each string, heavy, limitless. Bailey, I whisper, how did you earn this money? Where did you get this? My father left it in my locker, she says. I look at... What was this grown man allowed to do in this school? I look at her in disbelief. My heart starting to race. How do you know? I say. I mean, I hope. Forget it. Bailey hands me a note, more like tosses it in my general direction. Call it a good guess, she says. I pick up the note off my lap. It's on a sheet from a yellow legal pad. Everything's on legal paper. It is Owen's second note that day on that piece of yellow legal paper. Please take out the word legal. The other half of my note, Bailey, is written on the front of hers. underlined for her twice. Bailey, I can't help. This makes sense. I am so sorry. You know what matters about me. You know what matters about yourself. Please hold on to it. Help Hannah. Do what she tells you. She loves you. We both do. You are my whole life, Dad. My eyes focus on the note until the words start to blur, and I can picture what preceded the meeting between Owen and the 12-year-old in shin guards. I can picture Owen running through the school halls, running by the lockers. He was there to deliver this bag to his daughter while he still could. Why didn't you just give it? There is literally no good reason for him to have not gone home, because you don't think whoever's looking for you is going to find you by the fact that your daughter goes to that school and you went to that school? Like, this is stupid. Oh yeah, oh, I don't want them to know where I live, so I'll go to the school where my daughter goes to. Like, they're gonna find you that way. Like, it's so stupid. Is there a Miss Nicholas that goes here? Yes, actually, her father is Owen Nicholas. Like, come on. I consider myself to be pretty unflappable. You could say that how I grew up demanded it. Another useless line. So there are only 2 other times in my life that I felt this exact way. I don't care. I don't care. The day I realized my mother wasn't coming back, and the day that my grandfather died. But looking back and forth between Owen's notes and the obscene amount of money he's left, I feel it happening again. How do I explain the feeling like my insides need to get out, one way or another? And I know if there is ever a moment I could vomit all over the place, it's now, which is what I do. Okay. I mean, I guess I can't really say it's an overreaction, but whatever. We pull up to our parking spot in front of the docks. We've kept the car windows wide open for the duration of the ride, and I'm still holding a tissue over my mouth.
Do you feel like you're gonna hurl again?
Bailey asks. I shake my head, trying to convince myself as much as I'm trying to convince her. I'm fine, I say.
'Cause this could help,
Bailey says. I look over to see her pull a joint. She smokes weed. She's a stoner. She better put 5 on that. She holds it out for me to take. Put 5 on it. It's legal in
It's legal in California.
Is that an answer? Is it even true for a 16-year-old? She looks 12, so she's not really even 16. Maybe she doesn't want to give me the answer, especially when I'm guessing she got the joint from Bobby. Oh, great. Another backstory. Bobby is more or less... Okay, here's another writing tip, even though I'm not professional. Try your best not to have characters with the same first letter name. Now we got Bobby, we got Bailey, we got Brody. Like, it's just too much. He's a senior at her school, and they're totally having sex. On the surface, he's a good guy, if a bit nerdy. University of Chicago. I don't care about this guy. Are you guys gonna go start cooking meth? Like, please, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. No purple streaks in his hair, yeah, because he's not a faggot. But there is something about him Owen doesn't trust. He sells weed. Of course you don't trust him. And while I want to write off Owen's dislike to overprotection, it doesn't help that Bobby encourages Bailey. Encourages Bailey's disdain? Yes! Oh my god. I can't handle this anymore. Sometimes after spending time with him, she'll come home and lob an insult my way. While I've tried not to take it personally, Owen has been less successful. He had an argument with Bailey about Bobby just a few weeks ago, telling her he thought she was seeing too much of him. I agree. It was only one of the times I saw Bailey look at Owen with the dismissive glare she normally reserves for me. Damn. Is it illegal to beat your child? Because if you don't want it, don't take it. She says, I was just trying to help, but don't suck it like a Slurpee. I'm good, but thanks. She starts to put the joint back in her pocket. How do you not smell your daughter? If she puts joints in her pocket, I feel like her pants would smell like weed. There's no way you would not know she doesn't smoke it. I try to avoid making any big parenting moves with Bailey. It's one of the few things she seems to like about me. Yeah, you not... Forget it. I try to turn away, making a mental note to discuss this with Owen. Such a woman thing to say. Making a mental note. When she gets home, let him decide whether she keeps the joint or hands it over. But then it hits me. Did she whip it? I have no idea when Owen will be home. I have no idea where he is now. You know what I say? I'm gonna take that. Oh, shit. Conflict. She rolls her eyes but hands the joint over. Oh. So, the first time we have the protagonist being proactive in this relation. Well, the second time because she tried to cook. Being proactive and being a disciplinary like role model, I guess you could put it. The first time she makes an effort to have like put some discipline in Bailey. Bailey immediately folds. So we just had a perfect opportunity to have some actual back and forth conflict, right? Her first attempt was giving the spaghetti, and she fucked up. So maybe that's probably like a net zero, right? Because we don't know her reaction exactly if it would have tasted good. Now her second attempt at being a parent, she's so successful that it really begs the question of how she's being stooped on so hard. It's unreal. Bailey folds like a house of cards. She just gives the joint. No conflict. This was the perfect opportunity for some proactive disciplinary conflict that would set the tone for the rest of the book, right? And she just folds. So, she puts in the glove compartment. I have a pretty big feeling that they're going to get pulled over and then the cop's going to find the weed. We pull it up to our parking spot in front of the docks. Oh. I look up at her. Then Bailey's tall? The money, she says. Each roll has $10,000 in it, and I got to 60 when I stopped counting. 60? I start grabbing the loose rolls of money that had fallen on the seats. Damn, bitch! You see money and you just let it spill over the car? On the floor and put them back in the bag. Then I zipped it closed, so she won't have to come contemplate the enormous stash inside anymore. So neither of us will. $600,000. $600,000 and counting.
Lynn Williams reposted all these Daily Beast tweets to her Instagram stories. She says, all about the shop and Avett Thompson. How he's like Madoff. That's what one of them said. I go back through what I know. Sharp, fast, Owen's note to me. What? The duffel bag for Bailey. The radio report suggesting embezzlement and massive fraud. Avett Thompson, the mastermind of something I'm still trying to understand. I feel like I'm in one of those twisted dreams that only happen when you go to sleep at the wrong time. The afternoon sun or midnight chill greeting you upon waking, disorienting you and leaving you to turn to the person next to you. The person you trust most, looking for clarity. It was only a dream. There is no tiger under the bed. You weren't just chased through the streets of Paris. You didn't jump off the Willis Tower. Your husband didn't disappear. Okay, how many examples was that? I feel like 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So she did the rule of 3. But damn, I feel like a long one. Leaving you no explanation, leaving his daughter $600,000 and counting. You don't have to say and counting every time. We don't have the information yet, I say. But even if it's true that the shop is involved in something, or if Avett did something illegal, that doesn't mean that your father had anything to do with it. Then where is he? And where did he get this money?
She is yelling at me because she wants to be yelling at him. It's a feeling I can relate to, yeah. I'm just as angry as you are, I want to say. And the person I want to say it to is Owen, the man, of course. I look at her, then I turn away, stare at the window, out at the docks, the bay, at all the night-lit houses in this strange little neighborhood. I can see directly into Han's floating home. Mr. and Mrs. Han are sitting on the couch, side by side, eating their nightly bowls of ice cream, watching television. What do I do now, Hannah? Oh, what do I do now, Hannah? She says. My name hangs there like an accusation. Bailey pushes her hair, her purple hair, by the way, if you forgot. I can see her lips start to quiver. It is so strange and unexpected. Bailey has never cried in front of me that I almost, there's a lot of almosts here, reach out to hold her to me like it's something we do. Protect. Stop. Stop. I unbuckle my seatbelt, then I reach over and unbuckle hers. Oh, this is simple movements. Let's go into the house, and I'll make some phone calls. I say, someone's going to know where your father is. We'll start there. We'll start by finding him, so he can explain this all. 'Cause that's one of the things I love about him. He's really good at explaining things. Okay, she says. She opens her car door and steps outside, but she turns back to look at me, her eyes blazing. But Bobby's coming over. Oh, hell no! Don't let no Bobby Stoner in this place. I won't say anything about my father's special delivery, but I really want him here. No, why would you know? She isn't asking. Oh my God! She isn't asking, what choice do I have anyway as the woman of this house and now in charge because the father and husband isn't here. No, the child is in charge. Yes, the 16-year-old is in charge now. Boy, oh no. Just stay downstairs, okay? She shrugs, which is as close to an agreement as we're going to reach on that matter. And before I can worry too much about it, I see a car pulling up.
headlights blinking at us, bright and demanding. My first thought is, Owen, please be Owen. But my second thought feels more precise, and I prepare myself. It's the police. It has to be the police. They are probably here to find Owen to gather information about his involvement in this firm's criminal activities, to assess what I know about his employment at the shop, and about his current whereabouts, as if I have any information to pass along them. But I'm wrong in that count too. It's fucking Bobby. But I'm wrong in that. Okay, the lights go off, and I see it's a bright blue Mini Cooper, and I know it's Jules. It's my oldest friend Jules, hustling out of her Mini Cooper. You don't have to say Mini Cooper. You can just say car. I already know it's a Mini Cooper. Damn. And racing toward me at top speed. Her arms wide and outstretched. No one on this fucking planet would do that. Oh my god. Hello, my loves. Oh. I'm almost done. Bailey hugs her back. Even Bailey loves Jules, despite the fact that I'm the one who brought her into Bailey's life. That's irrelevant. It's literally irrelevant. It doesn't matter who introduced who. If she likes Jules, she's gonna like Jules regardless of how they got introduced. This is who Jules is to everyone who is lucky enough to know her. Comforting, steady. It must be why, of everything I'm guessing she'll say to me in that moment, the one thing I don't expect is what actually comes out of her mouth. It's all my fault, she says. Oh no, there's more. Oh, fuck. I still can't believe this is happening. What a way to start a chapter. It's so typical. We sit in the kitchen at the small breakfast table in the Sun Nook, drinking coffee spiked with bourbon. Jules is on her second mug, her oversized sweatshirt concealing her small frame, her hair pulled back, and I don't care, dude. I don't care. Is this normal? Her back into the pigtails. They make her look like she's trying to get. Oh, who's they? She dressed herself. Who is they? Oh, the pigtails are making her look like it? Oh, fuck it. They make her look like she's trying to get away with something, sneaking some more bourbon into the mug. They make her look like a 14. What is weird? This is weird. Look like her 14-year-old self. This is a grown woman. Right? This is cringe. And weird. Oh no, the grandfather's back. My grandfather had just moved us from Tennessee to Peekskill, New York, a small town on the Hudson River. Jules' family had moved there from New York City. Her father was an investigative journalist for the New York Times. Yeah, journalist. New York Times, sure. A Pulitzer... Yeah, of course. Not that Jules had any airs about her. Yeah, exactly. Who would have heirs if your father works for the New York Times? We met while applying for after-school jobs at Lucky's, a local dog walking service. We were both hired, and we took to walking our assigned dogs together every afternoon. We must have been a sight. 2 small girls, 15 rowdy dogs surrounding us at any given time. It's like 7 to 8 dogs for each of them, huh? So that's 4 dogs per hand. That's a lot. Man, I don't know how you can walk them. Forget it. I was a freshman at public high school. Judge was at a previous... Jules was at a prestigious private school a few miles away. But those afternoons were just the 2 of us. We can make it if we can. I just want this to be over. Yes, we're almost done. Okay. I'm still not sure how we would have gotten through high school. Just the two of us. We were so removed from each other. I'm just going to skip that whole line so that stays like that. Jules once compared it to how you confide in a stranger you met on a plane. From the beginning, this is what we've been to each other. Safe, airborne, complete with 30,000 with a 30,000 foot perspective. That hasn't changed now that we're grown-ups. Jules has followed in her father's footsteps and works for a newspaper. She's a photo editor at San Francisco Chronicle, focusing primarily on sports. Yeah. She eyes me, worried, but I'm eyeing Bailey in the living room, and Bailey's eyeing the TV, and the TV's eyeing the couch. Oh, Bobby. Oh, fuck Bobby, dude. She eyes me, worried, but I'm eyeing Bailey in the living room, snuggled into Bobby on the couch. Dude, fuck Bobby. Get this stoner out of the house. The two of them talking low. It seems harmless, and still, my thought is, I have no idea what harmless looks like. This is the first time Bobby has been over. Why are we letting this guy in the house? Like, there's too much wrong going on for just some stranger to be in the house. When Owen hasn't been home. This is the first time when it's been up to me alone and you're not. Okay. So closing thoughts. I think the biggest problem that I just found was that one time that the protagonist asserted herself, she got what she wanted. Instead of there being a conflict right there, right? It's just really weird for her to submit to everything that Bailey does, right? And then for the one time that Hannah asserts herself, not even like super aggressively, she just like says, "Hey, give me that," and then Bailey just gives it to her. It was just really, I don't know, inconsistent. Like, there's no like conflict between these two characters. She just submits to everything Bailey does, and that little joint feud or lack of feud, I think it resonates with what the reviews are saying, which is that she just submits to Bailey, and yeah, she's been submitting to Bailey the entire time. And that one moment where she said, "You know what? I have to draw a line. I have to get that spliff. I have to get that spliff," and she just gets it. That is the crux of. That's like the major plot problem I see already in the first 15 pages of this. That inconsistency. That was I literally just said, "Oh, look, a conflict." She's making an assertion. Her first assertion after making Bailey out to be like this bitch, that was her first time to show that, like, hey, this is where I draw the line. This is going to be where the conflict starts. And the author failed on delivering on it. So, yeah, this is just another book that, got paid reviews, to be honest. What else? It's just another woman writing. I mean, to be honest, this author could be the same as the other author I've read, not written. Not written, just read. Yeah, I mean, besides everything else I've already mentioned, I think that is the biggest crux with the plot of the story. That's it.